Hello again, everybody. I'm Paul the Nitro Skywars here. Welcome to this edition of Nitro Memories. Thank you so very much for joining us. Today, we go back to July 1988. What a huge month it was for the NWA. We're going to get started with that with the Great American Bash 88 in Baltimore, Maryland, live on July 10th, 1988. The main event was for the NWA World Heavyweight title, as the champion Nature Boy Ric Flair defended against the total package Lex Luger. And what a bout that was. We all thought that Lex Luger was going to win the NWA World Heavyweight title. He had Ric Flair in the rack. The rack. Flair was screaming, but Luger was cut open thanks to J.J. Dillon ramming him into the ring post earlier. But Luger made the comeback. And while Luger had Flair in the rack and Rick was screaming, "I quit, I give up," there comes a Maryland State Athletic Commissioner coming up there, pulling the referee's leg, telling him, "You got to stop this match. Luger's bleeding too bad." It was a nick on the forehead. It was just a small little cut. And the State Athletic Commissioner, who probably got paid off by J.J. Dillon, comes in there. "You got to stop the match right now. That man is injured severely. He's got a massive blood loss. This match needs to be stopped." Well, the bell rang. We all thought, including yours truly, that Lex Luger had won the World Heavyweight title, but ring announcer Gary Michael Capetta, the most dangerous ring announcer of all time. Just a little humor there, folks. He comes out there and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, because of the State Athletic Commissioner stating that the match must be stopped due to Luger's bleeding," which was just a little nick, not much to worry about, folks. The referee had to stop the match and awards the bout to Ric Flair. And I'm sitting here thinking, a little nick, a little cut right there. He ain't bleeding that bad. Come on, you didn't see JJ ram Luger into the post? It's just a small cut. But now, no, the State Athletic Commission had to come in there and stop the match. You got to stop the match. Well, the green was overflowing in his pocket. Well, Luger would start getting some rematches throughout the rest of July, but Ric Flair always got himself disqualified to keep his World's Heavyweight title. Next up, let's talk about the U.S. Heavyweight title match. The American Dream Dusty Rhodes challenging Barry Windham for the title. This was a pretty decent match. Dusty Rhodes, we all thought he had Barry Windham. Same scenario almost in a way. Press slammed him off the top rope. The referee was kicked in the head by Windham by accident, got knocked out of the ring after Windham was slammed off the top rope. Rhodes hits the bionic elbow, and then Ronnie Garvin shows up as Dusty was looking for the referee. "Where's the ref? I need a 3 count over here." Ronnie Garvin goes, "I got your back, Dusty." And as Dusty turned around, Ronnie taps Dusty on the shoulder. When Dusty turns around, boom! The hands of stone knockout punch. And my mouth drops like, "What? What are you doing, Ronnie? What are you doing?" Rose was out like a light. Ronnie Garvin smoothly left the ring. Barry Windham got to after the bionic elbow, raised the claw, picked up Dusty a little bit, put on the claw, slapped it on him while Dusty was knocked out. Boy, he was exerting a lot of pressure. He was going, "Dusty, yeah!" Referee comes down there, 1, 2, 3, and Windham held the 4 fingers up in triumph, thanks in part to Ronnie Garvin, the man with the hands of stone, Barry Windham's former tag team partner. Ronnie Garvin got paid off. As a matter of fact, they showed it a week later on Worldwide Wrestling. That cash that Gary Hart and J.J. Dillon got together to pay Ronnie Garvin $25,000 in cold, hard, tax-free money. My God, he sold out to the fans. Sold out. So Ronnie Garvin would have to face the wrath of Dusty Rhodes in the summer months to come. As for Barry Windham, all he would brag on television, "I killed the legend of Dusty Rhodes. I am the greatest U.S. champion of all time. The Horsemen rule. We had a clean sweep at the Great American Bash. Woo! That's Flair. I'm sorry, folks. But nonetheless, Barry Windham kept the United States title. Other matches included the Midnight Express regaining the U.S. belts from the Fantastics, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson taking Nikita Koloff and Sting to a draw for the NWA World Tag Team titles, which, by the way, was first on the card. First. I don't get that. I never will get that. And then the Tower of Doom. Ooh, the Tower of Doom. Regular cage at the bottom, medium-sized cage at the top of that, and then on top of that, the small cage. Are you serious with this? I mean, first up, Ronnie Garvin, who I mentioned earlier, turned on Dusty Rhodes. Well, he was one of the first in there. Fought for Ivan Koloff for 5 minutes, went down the trap door into the second cage, stood there, waited patiently. Time period ends. Open that cage door. Ronnie goes down the first one, walks right out the door, right back to the dressing room. Not going to be standing there and say, come on, Dr. Duff, you got to get out of the cage, man. No, he just walked right out back to the dressing room because I did not know at that time that Ronnie was going to do what he did later in the show. So now that explains it perfectly. Nonetheless, the Tower of Doom was stupid, pointless. Jimmy Garvin's team won. Yep, Jimmy Garvin got his revenge on Kevin Sullivan. But for what? It was a boring match. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about the Tower of Doom. It wasn't that intimidating whatsoever. It's got to be the stupidest concept I've ever seen done in the 80s. The Tower of Doom. Ooh. Anyway, as far as after the Great American Bash, of course, the Midnight Express was going to go after the World's Tag Team titles next at the hands of Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, but that will be for the next episode. But you can see it coming that way right now with those two teams. The Fantastics would have to wait a couple months to regain back the U.S. Tag Team titles from a different team in a final of a tournament, but that's for a future episode of Nitro Memories. And Ronnie Garvin and Dusty Rhodes are going to be feuding for a short time. That will be on another episode of Nitro Memories in the near future. And that is the NWA for July 1988. Moving on to the World Wrestling Federation, the big talk was SummerSlam 88 from Madison Square Garden, the hottest event of the summer. It was really shaping up. The Honky Tonk Man against Brutus, the Barber Beefcake. Again, you will see the Junkyard Dog against Ravishing Rick Rude. Really? Demolition was going to defend the tag team titles against the Hart Foundation. Pretty decent match. But everyone was focused on the main event. The Mega Bucks. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who I still feel to this day should be listed as a former World Wrestling Federation's heavyweight champion, to team with the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, who Ted DiBiase had personally bought and paid for from Bobby the Brain Heenan, against the Macho Man Randy Savage and a surprise partner. Now, who could this surprise partner be? Excuse me. Is none other than Hulk Hogan. That's right, the Hulkster. Coming back, he just got done making No Holds Barred, which would be released in 1989. He's coming back to help Randy Savage out. The Mega Powers are back, and now they're getting ready to take on the Mega Bucks. But Hulk Hogan would have to survive a steel cage match in Milwaukee at WrestleFest, but that will be on the next episode of Nitro Memories before SummerSlam, which will also be on the next episode of Nitro Memories. But nonetheless, everyone's excited. The Hulkster's back, brother. Rips the shirt off. That's right, Andre DiBiase. The Mega Bucks. We won't be bought. That is until late July when it was announced that Jesse the Body Ventura was going to be the guest referee. I was like, oh boy, here we go, Jesse the Body. You know he hates Hogan. So we'll see how impartial Jesse the Body Ventura was. Well, moving on to July, more of the same. Same feuds going on. Rude and Robert, Jake the Snake Roberts and Ravishing Rick Rude. The Ultimate Warrior and Hercules were wrapping up their feud. Brutus the Barber DK trying as he might to win the Intercontinental title from the Honky Tonk Man. And failing every time because he wants to cut his hair. Really, Brutus? Come on. And of course, Demolition was still defending their titles now against the British Bulldogs. Beat them. The Rougeau brothers beat them. But now the Rougeaus were beginning to show more signs of becoming a heel team. They moved this month in '88 to Nashville, Tennessee, the home of the Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart. That's right. They're now American citizens. And people are like, who cares? Who cares? Jacques and Raymond need to go back to Canada, back to Montreal. Forget about it. Stop waving those little flags in our faces. We know you moved to the United States. So it was just the same feuds. However, in my last topic, there were some new stars coming to the World Wrestling Federation. Sam Houston is here. He's starting to compete. The Outlaw, Ron Bass, formerly known as Cowboy Ron Bass, is here with his bullwhip, Betsy. Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, was just coming in late July, early August. He's here. And he will make a major impact in the coming years. And that was just some of the names that were that have arrived in the World Wrestling Federation in July of '89. And with that ends the World Wrestling Federation for July of '88. And did I say '89 in that previous statement? I'll take that back. In July of '88. Thank you for the correction. Anyway, that is going to do it for this edition of Nitro Memories. Next month, we're going to do August 1988. SummerSlam is here. Hulk Hogan trying to survive a cage match with Andre the Giant before SummerSlam. What happened at SummerSlam? In a moment I'll never forget. Meanwhile, in the NWA, Ric Flair was still feuding with Lex Luger. Dusty Rhodes vowed revenge on Ronnie Garvin, which a feud that would not last too long. Sting was still in the hunt for the world's heavyweight title. Barry Windham was cementing his legacy as the U.S. champion and a member of the Four Horsemen, and so much more. Oh, I'd be remiss if I did not mention it was also a tragic month, too, with the passing of adorable Adrian Adonis and Bruiser Brody. My apologies for that. They were both tragic, and I saw Adrian's death on the news on Entertainment Tonight, as well as Bruiser Brody's. Complete shock. Did not know that was going to happen. So July was also a tragic month with the passing of Adrian Adonis and Bruiser Brody. And with that, we will end now this edition of Nitro Memories. Until next month, I am Paul the Nitro Scourers here saying, so long, everybody.